Apologies for cutting that interview short, but that's the much we can take as we have another guest joining us via Zoom this morning. And as 2027 election, draws closer, we're having discussions about inclusivity and representation. And, we see that one glaring issue remains the representation of women when it comes to Nigerian politics. So now the question is, as we build up to 2027 election, where do Nigerian women stand? So we're going to be looking at 2027 political build-ups in Nigeria, the position of Nigerian women, with Irene Awona. She is the president, League of Women Voters, Benue State. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so my name is Irene Awona Ike. I am the president, League of Women Voters of Nigeria, not Benue State. The league has one president. The states have chairpersons. The state chapters have chairpersons, just for
All right,
the record.
apologies for the mix-up. She's the president, League of Women Voters, Nigeria. Thank you for coming. All right, now, first of all, let's look at, the political atmosphere generally as the elections build up. So now, how would you assess, the current political build up, all the coalitions, the defections, and, everything surrounding it generally? What is your opinion on the build up to 2027?
Okay, thank you very much. It's quite interesting, and we can see that even in the coalitions that's going on, you will see that there is no strong female political voice in any of the groups, neither in the statutory political parties that still exist, and then in the coalitions that are being formed across the country with diverse political blocs and the heavyweights from various zones in the country. Unfortunately, you can see it is obvious that there's a very loud absence of women or any strong female politician in the space. So when I say strong female politicians, I'm talking about the likes of the likes of Mrs. Aneni, Chief Mrs. Aneni, the likes of Dame Esther Udwei, the likes of Ina Choruma, the likes of Kema Chikwe, the likes of Itagiwa, there are many of them, the likes of Senator Lujimi, the likes of a lot of strong female voices. Amongst them are also even former first ladies. The likes of even the senators that are right now in the National Assembly, you can't see any of their voices in any of the coalition. I think only Senator Kingibe, there's already a political ideology that excludes women, and it is deep-seated in such a way that no matter what plans they have politically, they don't include women, and women are not in the room. And so I will also link what has been happening to the fact that Nigerian female politicians are not concerned about coalitions now because they know that they will not be included. They are all concerned about ensuring that they have more women in parliament. And so everybody is concerned about the special seats bill. All energy, all attention is geared towards the special seat bill in parliament, which was sponsored by the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu. And this bill seeks to have one woman senator, one House of Rep member per state, and then 3 State House of Assembly members, one from each of the senatorial zones in the states. This bill has nothing at all to do with the statutory seats that are already there. That means that they will be contesting as additional seats to the statutory seats that are already there. The only difference is that these women will be contesting against women. It's going to be a women contest. And will they run elections? Yes, they will. They will run elections. They will run campaigns. They will also campaign across, especially the senators and the House of campaign across the states, while the state assembly members will campaign across the senatorial zone they will represent. And so female advocates, female politicians, everybody have been busy with grassroots campaigns, sensitizations, and also the public hearings where a lot of endorsements and signatures have been submitted, to ensure that the constitutional committee would see that this bill sees the light of the day. This bill is actually a constitutional amendment bill, and that's why citizens' engagement is very, very critical. And we believe it is very, very likely, and in fact definite, not even likely, is definite that if this bill is passed into law, a lot of the exclusion of women and persons living with disability in parliament and in leadership position in Nigeria will grossly reduce. I like to say that this bill is a bill for Nigeria to restore democratic integrity, to cleanse the democratic space. Women will bring to the table sanity in the democratic space.
All right, but why is it that, most women are not part of politics, or they are not particularly interested? Because you mentioned that the coalitions, women are not really interested in the coalitions. They are more interested in the seats, reserved seats, and doing grassroots campaigns and all of that. So what exactly is the reason? What is that thing that is hindering women from breaking into into mainstream political space?
That's a misconception. Nigerian women are in the mainstream political space, and in fact, like I said in another forum, Nigerian women are the ones who put all these male leaders in leadership positions. If you look at any of the legislators or the Senate or the governors that have had very swept time being voted in and again, they have very strong female mobilizers and strategists in their teams. So women are in the mainstream politics. But as I said earlier, we have been this road with them for so long. And women also contest elections. A number of them, over 2,000 women contested elections in 2023 and never got to the ballot. A very few of them got to the ballot. And that means that we feel that the best way and the only route that can gain us access into the room, into the leadership position now, is a special seats bill. Because having a coalition with them, by the time they start having their primaries, they will ensure that women don't get to the ballots. I'm also telling you that that it is not about interest. Not everyone who is part of the coalition went to them. They went to various people that they felt had, stakes and people behind them. But they exclude women, in this critical stage because they don't want their voice to be heard. But by the time they need the votes, they still come back to these same women to get their votes. So women are just being strategic. They are just trying to ensure that they do what is more sustainable and what is more beneficial. Right now, I would even say it is too early to start a politicking. Now we should be looking at policies that will make the 2027 credible, acceptable by Nigerians, and encouraging. Because when I use the word encouraging, I mean that there's a lot, we can see that there's some sort of voter apathy, wave across the country, and we need to do something about it. As defenders of democracy, the League of Women Voters is concerned about the number of people that turn out to vote. If you look at the records of Nigerian over 100 million Nigerians registered to vote in 2023. And at the end of the day, the statistics that voted was less than 10% of that number. And that's not a good thing at all. It means that the citizens do not have faith in the electoral processes, or they don't think that it is their responsibility to select their leaders, that whatever they do, the leaders will end up doing what they want. And it's not good enough for a democracy, especially one that has been sustained for 25 years. We have gone beyond the age of saying we are still a nascent democracy. We give glory to God, and we also applaud our politicians for trying to hold forth, not allowing the military to take over again, because Nigeria is suffering from a lot of the issues we have now are the hangovers of the long military rule. And we must do everything to see that democracy is promoted, is supported, and is sanitized to be what is expected to be, which is governments of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Yes. Now you spoke about the special seats. Now coming to that, don't you think that it's going to lead to a situation of if the person is competent enough? Because you also said that it's going to be, with the reserve seat, it's going to be a situation of women, women and women kind of competing for the seat, as opposed to the idea of equality, which is women and men competing in the same space and the best person wins. So if we're not having a situation where there are seats reserved for women and it's just women and women fighting for the same position, it brings up a lot of questions as to if this is actually, what we mean when we talk about inclusion and equality, and also when it comes to competence and ability to perform in that position.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing that up. It sounds funny anyway when you say that it will erode the opportunity of having competent people in the room. And I want to say sorry to Nigerian women for that statement, because it sounds like a statement that maligns Nigerian women who are extremely competent.
Not intended to malign. No, just to set a level playing ground for when it comes to.
Listen. That the women are competent. We have credible women who are extremely competent. And the only reason why they don't get to lead is because there are a lot of barriers set in place to ensure that they don't get to the ballots. That is just it. Most of them, if you look at, take away the political space and look at other sectors of the economy, the banking sector, the education sector, the commerce sector, do you have competent women there? That is to tell you that Nigeria has competent. There are women who have the ability and capacity to lead. And women have also led before. Unfortunately, the turnover is very high, and it's because of these barriers. And now, what this bill seeks to achieve is equity. Equity, because of the long exclusion of women. You cannot put them on the same level with men, because men have been there for so long that there are lots of things that being there have given to them that the women don't have. One of it is the financial muscle. The second of it is to have those stakeholders that decide who is on the ballot. We have few women who are in the the leadership of political parties. I have said that on this, medium before, and I don't need to re-emphasize that. That in the political parties, you hardly have women who are in the room to speak when nominations are being negotiated. And this is because we don't have former governors, we don't have we don't have a lot of former senators, and then even the former ministers do not have the resources to fund political party so that they can be considered as critical stakeholders that will decide who is on the ballot. when negotiations are being made in the boardroom. And so this is the only reason why women are not there. And this bill seeks to put women on the ballot. Women will be contesting with women. At this point, the space will be sanitized. Money politics will be some sort very, very minimal, because what the women will be bringing to the table will be capacity, ability, tenacity, and pedigree, because the women are known for trying to strive for excellence, and that's why you see the bars are always raised up for women. These same questions wouldn't have cropped up if women are not in the picture, because anybody we've seen in these countries that people who don't even have certificates at all, who have never led even a classroom as a class rep before, have become governors. But when it comes to women, we start raising the bars, the stakes are so high, because we feel that the woman is born incompetent. And it is a wrong narrative that would want to change entirely. The Nigerian women are competent. They are actually the engine rooms of most political parties. And if the men are sincere, they will say that if the best ideas within their camps come from women, and then at the long run, the highest votes they get to get into leadership comes from women.
All right, now with all you've said, aside from, getting these policies, how else can we then shift the political narratives from women being the mobilizers, being at the back end, supporting and putting these men in positions of power, to actually being flag bearers and policy makers? Aside, putting down these policies that you've mentioned, what are the other ways that these things can be implemented?
In the way Nigeria is wired, anything that is not constitutional will not bear any fruit within the political space. No gentleman agreements within the political space have ever seen the light of the day in this country. At the end of the day, when push comes to shove, you see so much fighting, so much ground shifting to ensure that those who are powerful and mighty have their way. Now, for instance, almost all the political parties have their gender policies.
Please go on, we can hear you.
Okay, for instance, all the political parties have their gender policies, but none, and that says that 35% will be given to women in leadership, but none of the political parties adhere to it. All they do is they put women at the NWC, where they don't have the strength to influence who becomes the governor, House of Rep member, or senator. And the people who have that strength at the party leadership at the ward levels, at the local government levels, and at the state levels. And on the women hold positions like states.
Please continue with
until women have positions, hold positions like the state chairman of a political party, the local government chairman of a political party, the state secretary. Those are the statutory delegates. Or women start holding positions like the governor of a state, they will now be so politically strong enough to be in those rooms where these negotiations are done. Because I tell you that most of the candidates that you see, before they get to even the primaries, have been agreed upon. This is what happened within political parties. And once the stakeholders agree that this is who we want, all the delegates just fall in line. Hardly do you see that the person who they refused, or they said, no, we don't want you on our ballot, we could find something else for you, gets the ticket at the end of the day. So there's nothing that can be achieved without policies and frameworks. The highest and the strongest legal framework and anything that is there.
All right, it seems we're having some network issues with Irene Awuna. She's the president, League of Women Voters Nigeria. wish we could continue the conversation with her, but unfortunately we seem to have lost her, and we're actually out of time. So we'll go on a break, and coming up next is Political Circle.
Save Nature TV, news in your pocket.